What up, peeps? It's your girl Dash coming back to you from Real Takes, and today I'll be doing a review to the movie titled Little. And let me just say, first and foremost, I really enjoyed this movie. This was a great movie. Now, this, of course, is starring Marsai Martin. We have Regina Hall, and we also have Issa Rae. Now, this is being directed by Tina Jordan. She actually was a writer on movies like, say, ATL and Drumline, and they're produced by Will Packer, who's, of course, done Girls Trip. We have What Men Want, and some other movies like Obsessed, and another one I know he's working on right now is Jacob's Ladder, which I'm definitely looking forward to. Now, for this one, first and foremost, can we just give a shout out to Marsai Martin? She was amazing. Secondly, I'm so excited and happy for her to be one of the youngest women attached in producing her own movie. Kudos to her. Now, I feel like you can tell, I want to say when I started watching her on Blackish, it was her presence on this show. It is hilarious. She is just something to behold on the show. And I just feel like there was room for her to show her talents in other areas, and clearly the people, the powers that be in Hollywood, see that, because the fact that she went out and pitched this movie and she got the right people behind her to put this out to the masses. And let me tell you, when I went there, that movie was packed, and I'm happy for her. There was that speaks volumes right there. I'm loving that people wanted to come out and support. It wasn't just little young teenage girls. There were much older adults, myself included, of course, were there, because the trailer sealed it for me. If you all saw my reaction, you already know how I felt. I was so here for it. Now, speaking of it, now the premise, of course, has been done, but I want to say I feel there is a difference. When I think of Big, and that was, of course, starring Tom Hanks, in that particular movie, he went to what looks like to be some sort of, psychic whatever thing, little, magical, whichever, and he wished to be little. In this one, she did not wish to be little. She basically was given this situation unbeknownst to her, and basically with that comes the fact that she has to deal with the situation and also deal with the fact that she has to deal with a life lesson as to why this happened. What am I going to learn from this? So moving from that, let me just go ahead and jump into the movie now. The movie, first and foremost, you get to meet the adult Jordan, played by Regina Hall, and I'm going to tell you, she was nasty. She was horrible. She's a boss you would never want. I would never wish that on anybody, just the way she nitpicked. She was a straight up bully. And, took micromanaging to a whole nother level with the way she carried herself. And that's not the type of work environment anyone would want to work in. The people in the theater, myself included, were just like, oh, heck no. Some of us feel like we probably would have got arrested, because there was no way I'm going to let somebody start hitting on me like in the trailer, ding-dong, and on my forehead, whatever, causing me, harm, discomfort, anxiety. Just when she walks in the room, certain people, having them in tears, crying during a pitch for whatever, because they worked in a place that was kind of like a company, like an app, developing type of company, whichever. So she's dealing with big wigs, which is definitely millions and millions of dollars, whichever. So, of course, her being smart. Now, if you all see the movie, and I'm just going to get into it, whichever spoiler. So if you all want to watch this, then you don't have to. Spoiler, I'm just going to just talk about it. You see the scenes of her as a young Jordan, which is played by Marsai, and you see kind of what she goes through, which leads to this. And it basically lets you know she was definitely sweet, kind-hearted, very smart, into her science, whichever. And of course, you have that one individual, sometimes in school, some people might say, a couple of individuals here and there might try to bother you here and there, but you always have that one person who wants to probably be the bully, to try to be inferior, because of course they have their own issues. So let's take it on somebody else. And they definitely were picking on her, and she deals with a situation where she's speaking to a group of kids, in front of an auditorium, telling them something in regards to what she's discussing, whichever, and this person totally took advantage, caused an accident, whatever, and she's just like, she's not happy, whatever. And of course, her parents put on something in her mind saying, well, once you get older, they'll have to answer to you, you'll be able to do this, and she's excited at the fact of getting older, being able to be in charge, doing what she wants, whatever, and being able to get on these people, whatever, and all that. So basically, the overall story with her is, as she got older, was, instead of pick on me, I'm going to pick on them first. I'm going to be the one that's going to be the mean person, so nobody can come at me, whichever, because it'd be too hard for them to do that if I'm already in some ways bullying them. So of course, you see the scenes of her older, her interacting with her assistant, played by Issa Rae. Her name is April in the movie. The way she treats her, the way she treats the people at her job. Then of course, there's a situation where there's one of these food trucks that does donuts, and of course a lot of them love carbs. Her character, the adult Jordan, couldn't stand carbs. She knows they're just like, she couldn't stand it like death. and one of them has a daughter who likes to, do magic or whichever. And from there, you see a scene where she's kind of rude to her, calling her, the Black Hulk Hogwarts, which I thought was rather funny. And just from there, she, is using her magic. She has this little wand. She's kind of fiddling around, whichever. And she's the one, if you saw in the trailer, saying, I wish you were little. And she just like, get her out of here, whatever. Because, of course, she feels like she felt a certain presence or chill. And she's like, get her out of her, and whichever. So, of course, you see the scene where the next morning she wakes up. And, she's going about her day, going downstairs to get her coffee, getting her car, whatever, and all that, heading to work. And that's when she realizes, from the way she's being laughed at in the Starbucks line, or the way she's being treated, trying to get to her car, they're like, who are you, whatever. Not unbeknownst to her at the time that you're not an adult. You're the young Jordan. And that's when all hell breaks loose. She has to get, April, she's coming over, she's bringing stuff, and that's when she has to confront her and tell her, this is what happened to her. She kind of realizes the little girl has something to do with it, and they have to figure out where that food truck is. So in the midst of this, all these other things start happening. She has to be put in school, because of course one of the neighbors calls Child Protective Services, and that's when she has to deal with the real issue as to how she in this way. Going back to the school she does not want to go back to deal with maybe now a new bully, and then dealing with how to make friends, how can you use this opportunity to fix the situation you dealt with back then, and make it better for yourself so you can be better, not still a bully, treating people the same way you have been treating them in your adult life, even though she was not like that in her younger life. And you see, of course, being picked on here, whatever, things of that nature. And I will say this, I love how in this movie they embraced her in her natural state. I love her hair being the way she looked. She was just as cute as a button, whichever. They had the kids messing with her hair and all that and everything like that. Or sometimes there would be certain instances where somebody would try to touch it, whichever, And I love that because I know that was Marseille's real hair. She looked beautiful, and I love how they embraced it. They didn't try to have her, looking into other ways. She's fine just the way she was, and I actually enjoyed those scenes. And now for her, she slowly has a realization about certain things with the young kids, with the bullies, seeing how the girls treat her, and of course Issa's character, playing April. It's like, oh, I wouldn't dare to understand that, how, explain to her, kind of being sarcastic, but trying to open her eyes to, wow, this new girl at the school is treating this way. Wow, how would that ever be? How would you never understand this, whichever? Not realizing, yes, she's talking about you. You treat your people at work like this. You treat people every day in your life. You have a guy who likes you, played by Luke James, that you keep kind of shielded off, whatever, because you don't want to open yourself up to being how you really want to be, because you're afraid of maybe rejection, being mistreated, whichever. So she basically pushes everything at a pail so she can avoid any type of interaction in that manner, so because she's dealt with it, she doesn't want to experience it ever again, so she tries to fend it off. And I just like that was the life lesson she had to learn, and I thought it was done very well. Now of course you all know down the road she eventually does turn back to her adult self, and with that a little bit more wiser. She's trying to open up the eyes of April. Now with April, played by Issa, she has such creativity and certain ideas that she's afraid to actually put forth, whichever. And of course at times you see Jordan tell her, you will never be a certain way because you're too scared, you don't want to do this and whatever and all that. And she has a guy in the office that you can tell they kind of have a little crush on each other, where he kind of tries to push her when she's asking for creative ideas to help a client come up with a new project. Otherwise he's going to leave this particular company. And she at first doesn't want to do it, whichever, and eventually towards the end of the movie she opens up, whichever, and she makes the pitch, whichever, and of course the adult Jordan shows and whichever and puts her out there to push her, and of course the person doesn't want to come on board, whatever, but she tells her don't give up, the company's not going to go down. He's one of their major clients who brings money. They have other clients, but they feel like if this happens, everybody else eventually might leave, and a lot of them are going to lose their job, and that's not the case. So when they have a moment when she was older, before she became little, where she told her she had 17, 17 notes before she got that yes or whatever. And she let her know when this pitch didn't go through, she says, don't worry, I got, 17 more, whatever and all, till I get the yes. And it was like that moment where they clicked. It was like they had that nice little bond right there. And for that moment, when she was little, before she became an adult Jordan, they had that little understanding, the respect, you know, what does Jordan learn from this whole situation to deal with this, because she thought she was going to be little forever until she realized, you know, once she found the little girl from the food truck, she did her little thing, which was a funny scene, and it was really good. I really loved that there is a lesson to be said in this, just all the comedy, the shenanigans, things of that nature, because like they say, bullying, you know, it's not good. I will say this with me, you know, I had one individual in school back in, I want to say middle school, you know, who tried to test me, whichever, you know, and every now and then, you know, I just kind of, you know, ignore it, whichever, because I was one of those type of individuals when I was younger. I let people say whatever they want, as long as you put your hands on me, because when you put your hands on me, it was a different story, you know, and then some of them, I would tell them that, and then I would get the respect, and you had ones who would try to keep whatever and all that, and I would say my little piece, whichever, and then I just let it to the point where when you start interfering with my schoolwork and I'm in class and you want to show off, then I would just do what I need to do to basically be loud about it so the teacher knows, and then embarrass them. And then it was almost like they got checked and they realized, yeah, you thought you could bully me, but it's not working. But again, yes, sometimes I had a way of doing it where I didn't have to be belligerent with it, but I was very effective. And then, you know, I got my, you know, my point across, whichever. But yes, overall, I've never been a fan of bullying. I don't like anything about it. I feel like people doing that, you get a little bit of that online through people in comments, because everybody can hide behind a computer. That's a new way of doing bullying nowadays, as you can see, whichever. But the good thing about that online is that it's called delete and it's called block. Blocking is life. But yes, bullying is not a good thing. No one should be doing it. But I always feel like the people who want to bully you have been bullied, so they want to do it to someone else to see how it feels. There's nothing great about the way it feels. There's nothing good about doing it, period. There's nobody's going to tell me that bullying is a great thing, whichever. There's no way you're going to make your statement for me to understand why you feel that's a good thing to do. So yes, that's one thing I definitely will say was definitely discussing this. And I feel like, as she said, like in the character moving forward, she learned that she's a better person for herself, better for everyone involved, and more healthier for herself, the people in the work environment. And in the end, like I said, the movie overall was done very well. I'm very happy for Marsai Martin that at her first movie, that this is the first one she did, you know, the comedy, you know, a little bit of drama, whichever, and like I said, a definitely, you know, life's lessons, story behind it to back. So like I said, you got this movie got pitched by you know, a black woman. It got written by a black woman, produced by, you know, black woman, black man, got directed by a woman. I mean, I mean, the Black Girl Magic was just off the chain. I'm just so happy that she's attached to this. I'm happy to see Regina Hall and Issa Rae attached to this. They are wonderful. I love them both as actresses. They do a fabulous job. And I just hope that this does very well. And I feel like this is definitely going to open up more and more doors for Marsai. She is just beginning. She's a young girl. She's, what, just like I said, 14 years old. So the future holds a lot for her. She's just going to be doing bigger and better as she gets older. And this was done very well, like I said. I hope you guys get a chance to go and see this movie. I know some people were reviewing it, you know, talking about it was not boring, whatever. I don't know what movie they saw, but I know personally I enjoyed it. The little comedic little timing here and there was done. There's a scene, I will not say that part because I said I was going to spoil it, but this part I will not spoil because I want to leave something for you all to truly enjoy. There's a scene in a restaurant between Marsai and Issa that was done very, very well. And it intertwines with some music, and that's all I'm going to say. So if you all do get to see the movie, you will enjoy this scene, because we were all in that theater literally in tears. So, but with that said, you guys, my overall rating for this, I'm going to give it, I'll give it a 9. I really enjoyed this movie. So, but with that said, you guys, comment below if you've seen this. Let me know what you all think. And with that said, I will see you guys in the next review. You guys take care.